We kick off the NBA playoffs tonight with the play-in games as we have 2 games to go, and of course the NHL winding down this week. So for a number of teams, their final games of the regular season, we'll talk about those games. And yeah, other than one afternoon baseball game that is already finished up, there is a full slate of MLB action to cover as well. Welcome everybody across TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Wonderful to have you guys with us. Hope you guys are enjoying your afternoons. Let us know what you guys care about. What are the topics across the sports world that has your attention? Whether it's a bet, whether it's a fantasy play, whether it's just something going on across the sports world that you're interested in, feel free to put your questions, your comments in the chat. That's why we're here, Butt Fumble Sports. We're going to talk some fantasy. We're going to talk some sports betting. For those new to Butt Fumble Sports, we're a sports content company created by a sports fan. For you sports fans at home, we like to look at data, analytics, trends to come up with sports bets and fantasy plays. We also just love ranting about sports every single day. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you are new to the show, make sure that you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. That way you know every time that we go live. Great to see some familiar faces and names in the chat. Anthony, how do we feel about Phillies? Yes. Giants? Rays? Cardinals? Yes. And the NHL Jets. So let me just quickly let you know how I feel about those baseball games that you mentioned. I do like the Phillies. Phillies, definitely feel good about that one. Giants game, I feel good about them. I probably rank them my second favorite of the ones you mentioned. Cardinals, though, are a close second. I feel like Cardinals would be right there. Rays, that's a tight one. I could feel that being a very close game, one-run ball game. So that's how I come out on that. As for the Winnipeg Jets, let's go take a look at that game. One of the research tools that we're going to use throughout the course of our show is Outlier. Outlier is a sports research tool that allows us to look at the trends, data, and the money being spent on a particular game. The game you're talking about is the Kraken and the Jets. Interesting to note, 90% of the money being bet on this game so far is coming down on the Jets, including on the spread. 95% of the money is on the Jets to cover the spread. We certainly like that if you're backing the Jets. Let's go take a look at some of the trends behind this game really quick, just to see. One of the things I will note, we're so late in the NHL season, and now that we're entering the NBA playoffs, some of the trends that we've held true all season long that have been kind of a north compass, they don't work the same way, but we still want to keep our eye to them a little bit. Jets, just looking how they've done as a home favorite of late. They've won their last 2, 3 of their last 5. They're playing a Kraken team. Thanks so much, Pluex. Great to see Pluex. It's been a little bit since I'd seen Pluex on here. So the Kraken are actually have a below 500 winning percentage. Didn't realize that. With that said, Jets have been a very strong play in this situation, 19-4 straight up when they're a home favorite against an opponent with a sub 500 winning percentage. Anthony, I really like the bet that you have there. Jay is asking about the Phillies, Rockies, run in the first inning. If I had to go in any direction, I actually lean towards a run being scored, so I wouldn't bet the NRF, I'd bet the YRF if I were to go in that direction with that kind of bet. Pluex, you think the Timberwolves beat the Suns? I'm a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Personally, I think they will. I think the Timberwolves are actually a better team. Now, a lot of this has to do with whether Karl Anthony Towns will be healthy enough to play. Sounds like he will, but that said, I actually think the Timberwolves are going to win that series. Brett's asking about the Warriors and the Kings. Let's take a look at it. Right now, the money's coming down very heavily on the Warriors. Warriors are getting 95% of the money on not just the money line, but also on the spread. So we always like to be aware of how the money's coming down. Not how the tickets are coming down, but how the money is coming down. We're going to jump on over to killersports.com, another one of the research tools that we use here at Butt Fumble Sports to get a better sense of how the Warriors and Kings have done against each other and under certain trends. Warriors against the Kings this season. They've split the series going 2-2. Interestingly enough, Each team's 1-1 at home. Each team's 1-1 on the road. Against the spread, the Warriors have gone 3-1. Margin of difference between the two teams over the 4 games they've played this year, just 2 points. So it's interesting that the spread is set at 2.5. Let's take a look at the injury report for this game. This opened, by the way, Warriors were a 1.5 point favorite. It's now up to about 2.5, 3 points. Injury report. Gary Payton is out. Malik Monk is out. Herter obviously out for the season. So those are all the players that are injured. Let's take a look at how the Warriors have done recently against teams with a winning record, and the Warriors have been a road favorite. So Warriors are facing a team with an above 500 winning percentage. Oh, it's because I typed in a 9 instead of a parenthesis. So the Warriors, good to note here, Warriors have gone 6-1 this season when they've been a road favorite against a team with an above 500 winning percentage. The only loss that they had was back on December 12th against the Suns. They have also covered 5 straight games under this decision. I'm going to put this one up on my big board. I will take the Warriors on the money line. I'm taking the Warriors on the money line tonight. I would also take the Warriors minus 2.5. I think they're going to cover this spread, so I will be going with the Warriors. Large part has to do with the fact that this Warriors team is complete. They're healthy. This is a time, and unless Draymond Green gets ejected from this game, this is going to be the full-strength Warriors going up against the Kings team that isn't nearly as good as they were last year. I think the Warriors get the win. I also want to make note of the fact that I'm kind of interested, actually. I'm going to pull this up. Basketball. We need to get Basketball Reference and get some basketball referee data. That was something that we did last year, and it seemed to pay off very, very well for us. We looked specifically at how teams did with certain referees. We're going to look at referee assignments right now. I know I'm going in the weeds for some of you guys, but if you were with us for the playoffs last year, you know we got into this very big. Scott Foster is not refereeing the Chris Paul game, so that's very big news for all those out there. Everyone knows the history of Scott Foster against Chris Paul. Scott Foster is actually going to be in New Orleans for the Pelicans and the Lakers game, so let's just jump on over. I'm really interested now. For the season, for this season, we want to go 2023, 2024. Scott Foster. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Does it show? It's not what I wanted. How about if I go 2023 Lakers? Forgive me, I'm playing around a little bit. 2023 Lakers. And referees. Forgive me. Okay. Okay, so the Lakers are 4-1 this season. Lakers are 4-1 this season when they have Scott Foster refereeing their games. Very interesting. A little bit of a note there. That definitely stands out to me. I know some people are going to think I'm crazy, but I actually always care about the referees. So with that said, I'm going to jump on over. I just want to see what the Pelicans are with Scott Foster. Two and 2. So we were talking about the Warriors and the Pelicans. We were talking about the Warriors game against the Kings. I do like the Warriors on the money line. Warriors to cover minus 2.5. There's a little bit of reason to already like the Lakers. Let's jump into that game right now. I mentioned about Scott Foster being on the whistle. we all know that the NBA wants LeBron James and the Lakers to advance. The Lakers compared to the Pelicans in terms of ratings, getting them into a first-round series against the Denver Nuggets, I feel like this is a no-brainer in terms of what the NBA wants to see. I think there's a reason Scott Foster was given this assignment as a referee tonight. Again, maybe you think that referees don't play as big a factor. I think you're crazy. Scott Foster, especially with his history. Now, the Lakers are an underdog for this game. Let's take a look at how the Lakers have done against a team with an above 500 winning percentage, and when the Lakers are a slim underdog. They've actually won 3 of their last 4 games as a road underdog to a team with a winning record. Keep your eye on the under. I know that they hit the over with the Pelicans on April 14th, just a couple days ago, but the under has been a very strong trend for these Lakers over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks or so as a road favorite. With that said, let's take a look at how the Lakers have done so far this year. When they have a line that's less than 2, they have a very slim line tonight. They're 3-1 straight up this year. They're 4-0 against the spread. When they have a line that's 2 points or less, just like tonight, I like it as well. I know I'm going heavy chalk on this. I like the Lakers on the money line. Warriors money line. Warriors minus 2.5. Lakers on the money line. I'm not going to deal with the points on the Lakers. I know they're an underdog, so Lakers on the money line is enough for me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We're getting our NBA out of the way. If you guys have any questions about the player prop bets for those games, let us know. By the way, Lakers don't want to face the Nuggets. I could actually see some people trying to convince the Lakers that that's not a good matchup for them, that they would be better served facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. But frankly, I think the NBA wants the Lakers to win tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. The only reason I would think that the NBA wouldn't want the Lakers or the Warriors to win tonight is just to drive up ratings for the next round of games in a couple of days. But I think Scott Foster refereeing that Lakers game, that's a good sign for LeBron James overall. Ratings is the number one issue when it comes to what the NBA cares about. Pat Sox, great to see Pat Sox back on the show. Missed you a couple days ago. Braves money line or Braves over 4.5 runs? Great question. By the way, I don't know if you've heard, Ozzie Albies out. Ozzie Albies has been put on the 10-day IL. I think it's a toe issue, so some bad news for Atlanta Braves fans. That said, Braves got a nice win against the Houston Astros last night. Astros bullpen totally melted down. Josh Hader. What's up with Josh Hader? Is he at that point in the relief pitcher's tenure where they ultimately kind of slide down and he's gotten too big a contract to back it up with performance, or is it just earlier in the year? That said, Pat Sox, if I had to go in one direction, I'd probably take the Braves over 4.5 runs more than Braves on the money line. I think this is a game in which it's a coin flip game. I feel better about the Braves getting to 5 runs than I do about the Braves winning outright. The pitching matchup overall, Reynaldo Lopez against Hunter Brown, I think that favors Hunter Brown just barely, just a little bit. Maybe Hunter Brown is not as effective against the lineup. Maybe that's what you're hoping for. But I think Hunter Brown's a slightly better play. But again, we saw that bullpen of the Houston Astros very suspect. They already struggled last night. So I think the Braves getting to 5 runs is a better play, Pat Sox, than Braves on the money line. That's how I would play that one. Appreciate the question. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Carrie, also known as John. John, how you doing tonight? Do you think the Florida Panthers and Maple Leafs play their starters tonight? Personally, I think that the Maple Leafs will, because I think the Austin Matthews 70 goals is a thing. I think the head coach hates it, but at the same time, I think the Maple Leafs fans want it. I think the organization wants it, so I think the Maple Leafs will play. Again, maybe they'll play, but their shifts will be reduced. But I expect that the starters will be out there. As for the Panthers, I don't know. That's a tougher one for me. They really don't have anything. I could see them going for it, but I don't know. In either case, they're 2 games I probably wouldn't bet on for the very reason that you're curious about it. Lopez is due for a bad game. Travis, I think you're right. And by the way, the Houston Astros lineup is due to break out. Altuve's actually been doing well. Tucker had a nice game a couple of days ago. But Yordan Alvarez, can you please stand up? Yordan Alvarez needs to hit a bomb tonight. Richard, we do like Warriors on the money line. Blue team, do you like Mariners over the Reds? By the way, can we just acknowledge how much fun the Mariners-Reds as a series is? This is a series where a couple of years ago, total snoozeville, yawn fest, but actually there's a lot of young star power on these teams, some good young pitching in this series, so it's kind of fun to watch these two cities that are great for baseball get back into kind of the excitement around it. If I had to go in one direction, again, I think it's a very, very tight game. I actually like Hunter Green and the Reds a little bit more. Really, I like their offense a little bit more. I know Logan Gilbert is such an effective pitcher, but overall, I think I just like the Reds lineup just slightly a little bit more, though I think this is going to be a very low-scoring, tight game. I could see this being a 3-2 kind of game, 4-3 at the most, but I just don't see this being high scoring. So maybe you do want to take an under of 7.5 or under 8.5. Right now, I think it's being offered at 6.5. That tells you a lot about how we should be thinking about this game. Appreciate you guys being with us. While we're actually talking some baseball, let's just jump on over to Outlier and let's see how the money's coming down on that game. So I gave you my analysis on that game based on the research that I've done, and very interesting, the money is heavily on the Reds. 91% of the money is on the Reds to win. 99% of the money is on the Reds to actually cover. Reds are plus 1.5. So the Reds, a rare underdog. That's because the pitching matchup. This might be a good day to take the Reds plus 1.5 and put it into a parlay. I'm going to put that one up on my board. I'm going to take the Reds plus 1.5. Personally, I think you could take them on the money line and be willing to take the risk because the return on investment, given that they're a plus 112. But that said, plus 1.5 for a Reds team that is coming out of the box hot, I would definitely stick with that. Also, keep your eye again on the under. 99% of the money being bet on this game is on the under, but make sure you're getting it under 7, under 7.5. That's Reds, Mariners, under. I would go for under 7.5 if you can get it. If you can't, totally understand you may have to pass on it, but could be good for a same game parlay. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you guys have questions of your own, feel free to fire away. Love hearing from you. JP is asking about the Bruins on the money line. Now, the Bruins have some work to do. They lost the other night against the Capitals, so they actually need this win tonight to seal up their position within the division. Senators, Bruins, money is coming heavily down on the Bruins, 89%. Also, I think and frankly, it's because the Bruins need the win. So I would go Bruins. Bruins on the money line. Not a great return on investment. Might be something you want to put into a parlay, but if it's only a 2-leg parlay, I'd feel good about it. Bruins on the money line. Yes, 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 to the question that we got over on YouTube from JP. John loves hearing that the Reds are a good one to take. Carrie, by the way, thanks, Deadpool. Great to see you. Carrie, you think Matthews scores 2 goals tonight? I don't think he scores 2. I think he'll score 1. And once he scores the 1, they actually could reduce his ice time a little bit. So look for them to maybe be a bit aggressive in the first period and then ease up off the gas with him. Make sure he goes into the playoffs healthy. Robert, I like Brewers, Giants, Rays on the money line. We talked about, I like the Giants. Rays, I feel like, is actually a coin flip of a game. I do think the Rays probably win, but I think it's a little bit closer than we all think it will be just because the Angels aren't that good a roster. But they've been playing a little bit better of late. Look for Mike Trout in that game. That's one in which Mike Trout could get you over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. But that said, I do like the Rays to probably get that win. Again, keep your eye on Mike Trout. Definitely someone who could go yard tonight. But Rays on the money line we like. The other one you asked about was the Brewers game. Brewers hosting the San Diego Padres. That's a battle of Dylan Cease versus Wade Miley. Which Dylan Cease is going to show up? If it's the Dylan Cease of the past, you would think the Padres should be favored. On the other side, if it's Dylan Cease so far of this year, kind of some reasons to question it. I don't love the game overall. I'd probably avoid this one, actually. It's not a game that I would necessarily bet. I'm just kind of on the fence about it. If I had to go in one direction, I would probably take the Brewers, Robert. I think you're probably right about that. But overall, this isn't a game I really like because I think this one's so tight. I think this could come down to late 8th inning, 9th inning production from one of these two teams. Deadpool's going Lakers and Warriors. Yeah, we're going pretty heavy favorites so far with the picks we put up on the board. Warriors money line. We're also taking Warriors -2.5. We have the Lakers on the money line as well. We took the Reds +1.5 in baseball. We also like Reds and Mariners under 7.5 if you can find it. And in hockey, we're taking Bruins on the money line. Appreciate you guys watching the show. JP, thanks for letting us know who's in goal. Ram Bam, you like the Cubbies tonight. Cubbies have an awesome matchup tonight. This is one that I'm actually hoping comes on MLB Network or something because it's Cubs, it's Diamondbacks. It's two teams that could definitely be playing in the postseason this year, probably in a wild card round or wild card game. That said, this is one that is the ultimate of coin flips. Kyle Hendricks, Tommy Henry. I think that I like the Diamondbacks maybe a touch more than I like the Cubs. One of the issues I have right now is the loss of Suzuki. Suzeki? I'm probably going to mispronounce his name. Forgive me. That's embarrassing. But I think that's going to be a bit of a hindrance on the lineup. I think I like the Diamondbacks a little bit more. I like the righty-lefty matchup that they have against Kyle Hendricks, Marte, Carroll. I think they could have really big games. I think Lourdes Gurriel could be the beneficiary of that with those guys being on base. This is a very, very close one. I think I probably like the Diamondbacks on the money line, but I would not be afraid to take the Cubs +1.5, so I'd split the difference. Ram Bam, you might want to take Cubbies +1.5 based on what I'm thinking, but let's see how the money's coming down. We always like to see how the public is betting this as well as how the smart money is betting this. Right now, 95% of the money is on the Diamondbacks. Kind of tells you how the smart money's betting it. 82% of the tickets are on the Diamondbacks. 95% of the money is on the Diamondbacks to win. 56% of the tickets are on the Cubbies to cover the spread. So just something to think about. As for the total, the over is getting a lot of love. Right now, the total for this game is set at 10.5. The over is getting 99% of the money. Ram Bam, you might want to think about taking the over. If you could get over 9.5 runs, it opened at 9.5, has gone up to 10.5. You could get over 9.5 at -140. I'd put that up on the big board, actually. That is Cubs. That is Diamondbacks. And I'll take the over 9.5 runs. I think there could be a lot of offense in that game. Do you like Austin Reeves over 7.5 rebounds plus assists? Raiders, let's go take a look at it. We're going to look at our first player prop bet of the night. This is Austin Reeves of the Lakers. Let's see how he's going to do on rebounds and assists. We're using Outlier. Outlier is a sports research tool that we use every single day here at Butt Fumble Sports to make sure we're looking at trends and data to find the best possible opportunities to bet. This opened at 7.5, has since moved up to 8.5. So wherever you're getting it at a good spot because it's moved up over the course of the day. Now, his matchup when it comes to rebounds isn't favorable against the Pelicans, but assists is a favorable matchup. The Pelicans are 20th in assists allowed to shooting guards, so a good matchup there. Head-to-head against the Pelicans, he's hit this over in 3 of his last 5 games against the Pelicans, but not in the last 2. Now, the injury report for this game, Anthony Davis is a game-time decision, but we fully expect him to play. He's already said he's going to be playing. So let's just see how Austin Reeves has done under this situation on the road, first of all. 10 of his last 20 in his last 10 games. 7 of his last 10. Let's take a look at it with Anthony Davis on the floor. 6 of his last 10. With LeBron James on the floor. 6 of his last 10. It's just not a bet that I actually really like. I understand why you're thinking about it. I'm more interested in assists straight up. But it's been better at home than it has been on the road. It's been okay. Austin Reeves over 3.5 assists if I could get it. It's not a great spot. So personally, I feel like it's actually not one that I really like. I think rebounds are going to be tougher to come by for Austin Reeves tonight. I'll put it this way. If Austin Reeves is getting a lot of rebounds, it means Anthony Davis isn't on the floor or isn't as effective as the Lakers would like him to be. If you think Austin Reeves gets over 7.5 rebounds plus assists, might actually be a good sign for the Pelicans, believe it or not. Do you watch MLS? No, I actually don't. That's one of the few sports, I don't want to say sports because I watch soccer, but it's one of the few leagues I don't watch. The MLS just does nothing for me, so no, I don't. Do we like overs in today's NBA games? One thing I actually put out there on my Instagram story, Butt Fumble Sports, for those that are curious about where we are on Instagram, the unders have been a better play in the play-in games. The unders have been slightly better plays. So just keep your eye on those unders. Unders might be a better play in that one. LeBron assists and points. Let's take a look at LeBron James when it comes to assists and points for tonight's game. Points and assists set at 35.5. How's the matchup for him? It's not great. The Pelicans are 5th in points allowed to small forwards, 17th in assists allowed to small forwards. Now LeBron James head-to-head against the Pelicans. He's gone over this total of 35.5 in 3 of his last 5 against the Pelicans. And in the one he missed, it was 35 dead on. On the road, he's hitting 2 straight games on this one against the Pelicans. On the road, hasn't been a great trend over his last 20. Here's what I would say. If you wanted to take this, buy it down to 34.5. Just give yourself a little bit more wiggle room. Personally, again, it's not a bet that I would take. This feels like an overly aggressive play. I understand it's been a hot play maybe over the last 20 games, but not necessarily on the road, not necessarily against the Pelicans. And so overall, I just avoid this one. Doesn't have my attention. As again, for assists might be a play that we kind of like a little bit more. If you could get this over 8.5, that's a play I really like. LeBron James over 8.5 assists. That one makes a lot of sense to me. I think he's going to have to get his teammates involved. There may be times where he just goes for points, but that's where the matchup is, at least for tonight. So keep your eye on that one. We talked about some of the bets that we put up on the board. I do have the Lakers. I do have the Warriors both winning and advancing. El Pinche, we do like the Jets tonight. Panthers game, I'm not going to bet that one. That one feels a little bit tougher for me to understand as to how the bet's going to play out. Maple Leafs, Panthers. Panthers are getting more money. Maple Leafs, the Austin Matthews show. So I'm going to watch the game, but I'm not going to bet on the game. That's how I'm coming down on it. By the way, I want to give out another MLB pick for you guys, just another MLB pick that I have. I am going to take the Cardinals on the money line. Cardinals going up against the Oakland Athletics, and a couple of player prop bets that I want to talk about as well. If you can get it, I would take Nolan Arenado over half a hit. And you could put that in a same-game parlay with the Cardinals on the money line. So you can take Cardinals on the money line as its own play. And then if you want to make it a little bit closer to even odds, take Nolan Arenado over half a hit. The guy has been en fuego over the last few games, especially when it comes to extra base hits. But we're not even asking that of him, just for him to get a single at the worst. So Nolan Arenado over half a hit. Put that into a same-game parlay with the Cardinals on the money line. Definitely something that I like for tonight's action. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button. I'm live almost every single day. Orioles -1.5. Feels like a bit of an aggressive play, to be honest with you. I don't love it as much as you probably do. If you wanted to take it, it's a great return on investment, so I get it. It's Dolph. I'll take Orioles on the money line and put them into some parlays. But if you're just taking it as an individual bet, I'm okay with Orioles -1.5. You think this is a good play. Reds, check. Giants, check. Yankees. So I am going to take the Yankees on the money line tonight, but I am very nervous about this one. This one feels very tight. In fact, if I really played it smart, it's Yankees plus 1.5, but right now they're the favorite. It's really even money. Depending on where you look, you're getting Blue Jays are minus 115 on the money line, but the Yankees are going for minus 1.5 for plus 165. This is just a very, very tight game. I think right now the money's coming down on the Blue Jays. Interesting. Money's coming down on the Blue Jays to win. I would take the Yankees plus 1.5. Yankees plus 1.5. I also have another player prop bet that I'm going to put up on the board for you guys. And this is one in which I'm going to say this. I might be jinxing this one, but I'm going to say it anyways. Anthony Volpe, when he leads off, he gets walks. Like when Anthony Volpe is leading off in the Yankees lineup, for whatever reason, the dude gets walks. Like, let me just show you guys right now. I'm going to pull it up right here because it's actually a player prop bet that, again, probably I'm jinxing it, but because now I'm making it known. But I've been cashing on this pretty consistently, and I feel like it's about time that I actually let it be known. So over half a walk, not a great matchup for tonight, but he's hit this in 4 of his last 5 games. He's hit it in 5 of his last 7 games. So this has been a very good trend over the last, week or so. I think Anthony Volpe over half a walk. Again, probably Magic may have run out on this one, but given that Kikuchi does have a high walk ratio, does have a tendency to walk batters, righty-lefty matchup, maybe Kikuchi gets a little cute, walks him, sets him up for Aaron Judge. By the way, if I did have to put a home run pickup on the board tonight, I'm taking Aaron Judge. I got a couple tonight. I've got a couple home run picks, but the first one that I'm going to put up there is Aaron Judge. Big believer in him tonight. I'll give you another one, actually. Let's say when we get to 4,000 likes, I'm going to give you another home run pick. How about that? So at 4,000 likes, we'll do another home run pick. Travis, I'm definitely betting the under now. I got you, buddy. Carrie, love Reds and Giants, plus one other team for a good 3-leg parlay. Was thinking Yanks, but who would you suggest? Yeah, I'd probably avoid the Yankees. I could see them winning, but it feels a little tight. Feels like you could find a better bet to go with. I want to just kind of play around with how the money's coming down as well. Because like the Royals you think would be a great play, but interestingly enough, there's a lot of money coming down. No, the Royals are still a good play, even though there's a good amount of money coming down on the White Sox. Royals might be a team you want to consider there, Carey. I think that could be a decent play. Another team that you may want to consider is the Cardinals. We talked about them a little bit earlier. Cardinals going up against the Oakland Athletics. I also like the Dodgers tonight. Dodgers, the biggest money line favorite of the season last night, and they lost. Do I think the Dodgers lose back-to-back? I don't. I think they bounce back up against Patrick Corbin. When we hit 4,000 likes, I'm going to give you another home run pick that I like tonight. Blue Gorilla, thanks so much for the kind words. Hope you guys are hitting that follow button. Hoping you're hitting that subscribe button. Ranger over on Twitch. I just won 1,700. Barcelona went 1-0 against PSG. Then Barcelona got a red card, so I made a bet that PSG was going to beat Barcelona by 3 goals and won. Ranger, unfreaking believable. Anyone who's able to predict that, brilliant job, Ranger. Well done. El Pinche is asking about Harrison Barnes under points, rebounds, and assists. Definitely not someone who I was thinking I was going to bet today. But while you guys get us up to 4,000 likes for a home run pick, let's take a look at Harrison Barnes, points, rebounds, and assists. The question was about the under. It's set at 19.5. It is a favorable matchup. Good on points, bad on assists, rebounds right in the middle. He has been kind of 50-50 on this. He's hit this in 5 of his last 10 games. At home, 6 of his last 10, but 5 of his last 6 overall. Hasn't been a great trend, though, so I certainly think the under is not a bad play. Against the Golden State Warriors, the under's been the much better play. Let's also look when he is without Herter. The under has hit, so that's a good sign. How about when Monk hasn't been on the floor? The under is hit as well. I like the under. El Pinche, I think you're onto something. Harrison Barnes under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We just hit 4,000 likes, so I'm going to give you guys another home run pick that I like tonight. Jorge Soler. Jorge Soler, over half a home run. So that's another player that I like to go yard tonight. I already mentioned Aaron Judge. I think Jorge Soler's matchup tonight is very, very favorable for him. So I like Jorge Soler. He's going up against Ryan Weathers. Jorge Soler back in Florida, back in Miami. I think he's got a good chance to hit a bomb tonight. So he's my next home run pick. Appreciate you guys tapping that screen. Ben, we do like the Lakers on the money line. Twins money line, thank me later. Ben, interesting that Ben likes the Twins on the money line. Looking at how the money's coming down on that Twins-Orioles game, 55% of the money is on the Orioles to win. But actually, if you kind of think about it, there's more money being bet on the Twins than tickets. So Ben Dover might be onto something here. Might be a reason that you want to actually take the Twins in kind of a good return on investment play. Angelo, Yankees got shut out last time that dude was on the mound for the Jays. I'm less worried about that, actually. Kikuchi, I'm not as worried about this version of the Yankees. I think it's going to be more effective against him. Part of the reason I say that is Kikuchi is someone who is very effective against wild swinging teams, but teams that are a bit more disciplined. That's where he runs into trouble because he's someone who has a tendency to either nibble or really rely on heavy movement with his pitches to get swing and misses. When the Yankees were kind of that all or nothing home run swinging team, I thought they were a worse matchup against Kikuchi. Now that they're being a bit more disciplined, I actually think the Yankees offense is a bit better play. But Angelo, come back to tomorrow's show. We'll see who got it right. Appreciate you guys being with us. Ben, I like the Warriors tonight. Pat's Dinger Tuesday on FanDuel. Which game do you think has the most bombs? Wow. Which game do I think has the most bombs? I'm going to say the Astros and the Braves. It's Astros, Braves. I think it's Astros, Braves. I think it's close. I'm kind of curious. Ranger, thanks so much, Ranger. Perfect beats. I'm kind of curious to see what the Dodgers could put up tonight. I could see the Dodgers hitting like 3 home runs, but I'll take the Braves and the Astros as the big home run game of the night. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. It has been wonderful being able to talk sports with you guys today. Make sure you throw your questions and your comments in the chat. Here to help you guys out in any way we can. We're just answering questions, ranting about what's going on in the sports world. By the way, WNBA, anyone surprised by the outcome of that? Spit, I do like Ronald Acuna Jr. over half a home run. That's another great call. Yep, I do like Acuna Jr. to go yard tonight. Great call. Do you bet hockey? Yes, I do. Steve, what I will say is I do bet hockey, but I am being very cautious about hockey bets unless I feel very, very strongly about it, just because we're getting to that point of the season where the trends that we've been studying, following, and really relying on all year long, they don't carry the same value now that we're getting to the final 2-3 days of hockey games, regular season hockey games. So because of that, I'm a bit more cautious. El Pinche loves what the Chicago Sky did. I did too. I really love the fact that they're putting 2 tall rebounders on that team. Now, do I know enough about the WNBA to really go off about it? No, I don't. But I'm excited about the fact that I actually know some players on a majority of these teams now. Like Sabrina Ionescu over on the Liberty. You got Cardoso, and you've got Reese on the Chicago Sky. You have Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever. Right there, I've already named more players in the WNBA than I could have years ago, and on different teams. By the way, Sparks has Cameron Brink. So there's, by the way, Cameron Brink. Can we just show some respect? Cameron Brink. So with that said, there's definitely plenty of reasons to get into the WNBA. What do you think about the Royals game? Jerome, I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to bet on the Royals. I do like the Royals tonight. I understand why at times you want to be a bit cautious when it comes to betting against the White Sox, because you're like, How long can the losing streak last? How long can the terribleness last? But I like where the Royals are. I like how they're playing. I'll go Royals on the money line. Yeah, Jerome, I'd go Royals on the money line. As for the over-under in that game, the total set at 8.5. That's a very, very tricky one for me. Brady Singer, I actually think is a slightly better pitcher than people realize. To me, it's all about can the White Sox offense actually score enough runs. I would probably avoid the total in this one. If I had to go in any direction, I'd probably take the under 8.5. Just not a huge fan of it overall. Will everyone play for the Lakers? So the answer is yes. Everyone of importance, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, everyone of importance will play. Steve, do you like the Boston and Detroit tonight? They're both playing for playoff spots. So I think the Bruins on the money line, yes. As for the Red Wings, your question about the Red Wings is a good one. Going up against the Canadiens, the money hasn't, we don't know where the money's coming in right now. I think everyone's kind of a little heavily loaded on the Red Wings. I think the Red Wings probably win. Again, not a game that I'm going to bet. I feel better about the Bruins on the money line than I do the Red Wings on the money line. What are my NBA picks for tonight? I'm going to go very chalky. I guess it's not chalky because technically the Lakers are underdogs, but I'll take Warriors on the money line and I'll take Lakers on the money line. What am I really taking? I'm taking ratings. I'm taking the NBA saying we want LeBron James in the next round of the playoffs. We want Steph Curry in the next round of the playoffs. I think there's reason to believe that the Lakers and the Warriors will advance ultimately. We do like LeBron James. I think LeBron James gets to 10 assists. We talked about that player prop bet a little bit earlier. Soler, Jackie, his name is Jorge Soler. Soler. He plays for the San Francisco Giants. Jorge Soler. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we go live. I love talking sports with you guys every day. If you're unaware of what we do here, we go through data, analytics, trends to find the best player prop bets and game picks every day. We also play fantasy sports. We both research that for you guys, but we also like to play against you guys. So if you guys ever want to go against us in fantasy baseball, basketball, fantasy football, DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports is the name of the company that I run. That's also the handle that we have on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports. Again, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. We can compete against each other in various bets or fantasy challenges. Blue Gorilla, I did the same thought. They want LeBron, they want Steph. I think more importantly, they really want the Lakers. Like, let's never forget. Like, yes, they want Steph. Yeah, they want LeBron, but they want the Lakers. Like, the Lakers are, it is the number 2 media market in the country. It is arguably the number 1 fan base in the country. Like, it's not just about the star power. It's also about the literally the eyeballs that could be watching a particular game. So yes, they want the Warriors, but if the Lakers could get into the playoffs, like, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing for the NBA? Funny enough, who's the referee for the Lakers game tonight? Oh, it's Scott Foster. Little cheeky, Adam Silver. We know what you're up to. We know what you're doing. Fade Trent, go Lakers. Thoughts on Giants money line? I like it. Mark, I do like the Giants on the money line. If the Lakers lose tonight, they have another chance. Very good point, Jerome. Very good point. There's some people actually making the argument that they would be better served going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder as opposed to the Denver Nuggets. Kind of an interesting question. I'll actually pose that to you guys right now. Which team would you rather face? I won't say which team you are, but which team would you rather face in the postseason? Oklahoma City Thunder or the Denver Nuggets? We'll go smiley face for the Thunder, crying face for the Nuggets. Who would you rather face in a postseason series? Who do you think you would beat? OKC is smiley face, Denver Nuggets is crying face. Who would you rather face? Who do you think's the easier team to beat? OKC is the smiley face, Denver Nuggets is the crying face. So who do you think's an easier team to beat in the postseason? Smiley face for OKC, crying face for Denver, as we just kind of think about which team the Lakers would rather face. Smiley face for OKC, crying face for Denver. OKC getting out to a very heavy lead over on TikTok. Which team do you think would be a better matchup? Who do you think's easier to beat? Smiley face for OKC, crying face for the Lakers. We'll let the clock wind down on this poll, but clearly you guys think that OKC is the easier team to face. I tend to agree with you. The reason being not just Jokic, obviously Jokic, best player on the planet, but OKC is still very, very young. OKC is a very young team, and if there's anything I know about young teams from watching them in the past, they almost have to go through the challenge. They have to go through the stage-by-stage challenge and almost build up the resiliency, the scar tissue, and learn how to play better when the moment kind of shines the spotlight on them. Denver has obviously gone through that. They've won a championship, but OKC has no exposure to playoff basketball. So for a number of reasons, I actually think that OKC is the better matchup. Now, that said, I don't think OKC is losing in the first round. I will say that. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the least appreciated, least talked about megastar in the league. Megastar. John Morant was getting all this attention a couple of years ago, and I don't think John Morant was doing half of what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did this year. The fact that OKC is the number one team in the West is phenomenal. What a statement about him. What a statement about that team. John, great to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Always love seeing that handle in the chat. Are the Lakers going to win tonight? George, that's what we think. We think the Lakers are going to win. Appreciate you guys being with us. Ben, he's going with the Marlins tonight. Interesting. Ben and I are on opposing sides of some of these MLB games. It's not that I don't like the picks, though, because the one thing I will say is Ben does a really good job. If he's going to take a bet that kind of goes against our picks, it's a good return on investment kind of bet. So I really like what Ben does. So just a disagreement here. I got you, John. I know it is. Travis, thoughts on Cubs, AZ, over 9.5. I like it. Diamondbacks on the money line. I'd probably avoid it, Travis, because I think that's a coin flip of a game. I think Diamondbacks probably win, but it's a little tight for me. I like Giants on the money line. I like the Phillies. I think the Phillies win. I can see Phillies minus 1.5 as well. Twins, Orioles under 8.5. Really interesting play. I think that's actually a good one as well. Boston plus 1.5. I think it's a good bet. I'm not going to bet it. Boston burned me yesterday. I thought Boston was going to cover the spread yesterday, and not only did they fail to cover the spread, they looked so ugly in that performance. I'm going to kind of fade the Red Sox for a little while, either not bet them or fade them. As for the Astros, I like that Astros plus 1.5. Some good picks from Travis. Eddie, I like the Warriors on the money line, Eddie. Richard, love the bet. I'm going with those two picks tonight. Stumpy Rules. Great to see Stumpy back on the screen. What's happening, buddy? El Pinche. Thoughts on J.J. McCarthy? He visited the Patriots. Does Mayo like May, J.J., or Bo? First of all, I don't think there's any chance Bo Nix goes to the Patriots. I think there's a greater chance that Michael Penix Jr. goes to the Patriots than Bo Nix. I think there's no chance that Bo Nix ends up there. This is what I would say about your question, El Pinche. I don't think it's about Gerard Mayo. I think it's about Elliott Wolf. I think the GM is ultimately going to make the decision on this one. I think it's going to be Drake May. I know that I think that Drake May is the safer pick. I think J.J. McCarthy might be the trendy pick and could ultimately turn into a very good quarterback, but Drake May is 21, is built as a big body, big arm quarterback. Isn't that what everyone wants when they get the opportunity to draft within the top 5 each year? So I think Drake May might be the safer pick. J.J. McCarthy, yeah, he's a winner, but can I trust him physically? Can I trust the workload? Can I trust him to truly be a transcendent quarterback? I think Drake May's the better pick. At least that's how I see it. Kyle Klein, Lance Lynn under strikeouts, Hunter Green under on strikeouts. Let's take a quick look at it. I'm kind of curious. Kyle Klein, can you do me a favor? What are you getting for Hunter Green on strikeouts? Can you tell me what the total you have right now is? I can see Hunter Green having a very good strikeout night, so I'm kind of curious to know what you're seeing in terms of the strikeouts that he could get. Let's take a quick look over on Outlier at where Hunter Green's strikeouts could come down at. I feel like he could get 7-8 strikeouts, so I'd love to see it at like 6.5. Cross my fingers. Hope it's up there. Let's see, Hunter Green. It's at 8.5. That feels a little high. It opened at 7.5. That was the spot to take it. It moved up to 8.5. It's too bad. If you had gotten this earlier in the day, it would have been a great play. I feel like 8.5's a little bit high. He hasn't hit this very consistently on the road over the last 10 starts that he's made. I would say take the under 8.5 strikeouts. So to the question that was asked, Kyle, I'd go under 8.5 strikeouts, under 8.5. I think you're right on that one. Lance Lynn, kind of an interesting one there as well. Lance Lynn for the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's jump on over and let's see where a Lance Lynn strikeout totals is set. 6.5 right now. I would take the under there, under 6.5. That's a good play as well. Now the Athletics, obviously, not a very good team, but I actually think they're only going to get about 4 strikeouts against him, 5 at the most. So I like that under. I think you're on to something. Lance Lynn, under 6.5 strikeouts. Really like what Kyle found out there. Good job, Kyle. Richard, who you got winning it all in the NBA? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to go chalk. I feel like the NBA isn't a sport about upsets. The NBA is a sport about ascension. The NBA is about like a team that has like paid its dues, that has gone through the various levels, the challenges, and then ultimately wins a title. I feel like so often we see a team that like they work their way up until that. It is the Celtics' time. The Boston Celtics were the best team in basketball from the first day until the last day. They have the best 5-man roster. I think they're deeper on the bench than people know. I know it's chalky. I know that everyone says they're choke artists. I understand there's a lot of trepidation around them. I'm going to take the Boston Celtics to win the title just based on what I've seen all year long and based how the NBA is. The NBA usually likes to anoint a team or likes to say a team is deserving of getting there. It's rare that you see a team come out of nowhere and win a title. I definitely believe the Celtics they're in their bag. Eddie, the Atlanta Hawks-Chicago game is tomorrow. We're going to take a look at that one tomorrow. We'll be a bit cautious before we bet on it. Chris, do we like the Yankees tonight? I do, but I think Yankees plus 1.5 is probably a better play. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you never miss a chance when we go live. I will be live actually later tonight. I'm going to do a subscriber-only show later tonight on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Subscriber-only show. Means you guys can watch, but if you guys want to interact, only subscribers can interact. We're going to do a subscriber-only show, let's say at around 10 o'clock. I'll do a subscriber-only show around 10 o'clock. For those that watch during the fantasy football season, you know how it goes. You like the Guardians tonight? I'm not going to bet that game. The Red Sox are just a hard team to bet right now. I like Garrett Whitlock on the bump, but I don't feel good enough about him. Chris, I'd go Yankees plus 1.5. Again, a reminder, we will do a subscriber-only show at 10 p.m. tonight. 10 p.m. tonight. So make sure you guys join us for that, a subscriber-only show. As a quick repeat, here are all the picks that we have given out throughout the course of the show over the last hour. We took Warriors on the money line, Warriors minus 2.5, Lakers on the money line. We're taking the Royals on the money line, Reds plus 1.5, Reds Mariners under 7.5, Cubs Diamondbacks over 9.5, Cardinals on the money line, Nolan Arenado over half a hit. Think about putting that in a same game parlay with the Cardinals money line play. Yankees plus 1.5, Anthony Volpe over half a walk, Aaron Judge over half a home run, Jorge Soler over half a home run, and the Bruins on the money line. And I'll also throw up there as well Jerome just mentioned it. I'll put it up here. Phillies on the money line, everybody. I also do like the Phillies on the money line. And one more for you. Dodgers on the money line. I don't see the Dodgers losing 2 in a row. So, Eddie, here, I'm going to put those on my Instagram story. Jeff, I actually like that pick, by the way. I'm going to post these on my Instagram story. So if you guys want to check that out, you can see every bet we just made, or you can DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks for free every single day. So if you miss anything that I just said, you can catch them on my Instagram story, or you can DM me on Instagram to get every pick that I make every single day. Again, we're going to do a subscriber-only show at 10 p.m. tonight. So until then, Chris, Yankees plus 1.5. Yankees plus 1.5, Chris. Okay, until later tonight, until 10 p.m. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll catch you later. Goodbye, everybody.